Good evening, everybody. Administration, council, and those of the people listening at home, I want to call to order our Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 regular city council meeting of the City of Beaumont City Council. And with that, I'll begin with the land acknowledgement that we are pleased to be here today on the traditional territory of Treaty 6 and the Métis homeland. We acknowledge all those who share a deep connection with this land. The City of Beaumont respects the histories, languages, and cultures of all of Canada's First Peoples, whether they be of First Nation, Métis, or Inuit descent, and appreciates that their presence continues to enrich Canada's vibrant communities. We are all treaty people. The peace treaties bind us all. I'll also begin this evening with a proclamation, which is as follows. International Women's Day, March 8th, 2022. Whereas United Nations began observing International Women's Day in 1975 during International Women's Week. And whereas in Canada, women make up more than half of our population, and there is a necessity to raise awareness about the need for women and young girls of the world to have equitable opportunities in employment and education. And whereas in Beaumont, we recognize the contribution of women to our community as entrepreneurs, decision makers, employees, and citizens. And whereas we call attention to their ability and willingness to contribute to Canada's economic, political, and social communities. And whereas for many among us, our future depends on the success of women in our community. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value of the accomplishments of women in our community, therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Bill Danlick, do hereby proclaim March 8th, 2022 as International Women's Day in the City of Beaumont, Alberta, dated the 23rd of February, 2022. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Administration, are there any changes to the agenda this evening, please? Go ahead, Ms. Winter.
Thank you, Mayor. Administration does have one change to the agenda. That item 10C, the CAO performance MQ1, be postponed till the March 22nd regular council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a member of council willing to move the adopted agenda as presented? Councillor Tessier. It should be on the screen in a moment for you.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the March 8th, 2022 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as amended.
Thank you. Council discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Sam, any discussion on the motion?
Nope.
Thank you. All's in favor, please vote accordingly. Oh.
In favor.
Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, council. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. It is proposed that the 5A regular council meeting of February 22nd, 2022, 6C Edmonton Metropolitan Region Board Dispute Resolution Committee appointment, and 6D scheduling of closed special council meetings be adopted under the consent agenda. Is our council willing to make that motion? Councilor McCook.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council consent to approve the following agenda items without debate. Item 5A, item 5, 6C, and 6D.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion from council? Sam, discussion?
None.
None, thank you. I'll call for the vote. Please vote accordingly.
In favor.
Thank you, Sam. That carries unanimously. Thank you, council. Next on our agenda is item 4, open forum. Ms. Winter, is there any open forum guests this evening?
Thank you, Mayor. We do not have any registrations for open forum this evening.
There are not. Thank you very much. We did 5A. Thank you. We're now into 6A, business items. 6A, Councilor Barnhart, motion following notice, council committee of the whole agenda advertising. I'll wait for the motion put up on the screen. Councilor Barnhart, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the, I had it on my screen where I could read it, that upcoming council agendas be published in the local newspaper with a disclaimer that they are subject to change and with a link to the city's agenda website.
Thank you, Councillor. Please speak to your motion.
Thank you, Mayor. When I made this motion, actually I made an inquiry to begin with the administration, And they did come back and explain that the practice of putting the agendas in the paper had stopped because there was some confusion because items on the agenda may have changed before the actual meeting date without sufficient time to change the notification in the paper. And I appreciate that the City of Beaumont has the access to the social media, which can be done quickly and more accurately. However, I have been approached by several residents that having it in the newspaper makes it much more accessible to them. And I think if we added a disclaimer to that notification in the paper, that would cover any possibility of confusion where the residents may not know that there have been changes made to that agenda. I don't assume that the cost is too prohibitive. I didn't hear that or see that in the inquiry from the administration, the answer that they gave to my inquiry. So I would hope that the rest of council would, if they have any questions, ask, or if not, pass this motion.
Thank you, Councillor. Council, discussion on the motion, please. Seeing no discussion. Sam, any questions?
Oh, pretty straightforward.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear what you said, sorry.
I said no discussion, pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no discussion on the motion, I'll ask for the vote, please.
In favor.
Thanks, Sam. And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Councillor Barnard, for bringing it to our attention. And hopefully the publication will be to more resident satisfaction. And we'll go forward from that point, see how it goes. Thank you. Thank you, Council. Next order on our agenda, pardon me, is 6B, approval of land purchase in Leduc County for RR 241 road widening. Who from administration will be speaking to this topic, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. With me tonight is Poonam Grau. I totally butchered her last name despite asking her multiple times today how exactly to pronounce her last name. So that is my apologies right there. I got myself all flustered. Poonam is our Manager of Engineering and Environment, and she will be speaking to this item today. Thank you.
Ms. Poonam, please proceed. I'll just go that way, make sure I don't get the last name wrong. So please proceed.
Thank you. So good evening, Mayor and Council. I am here seeking approval for the purchase of 0.54 acres of land, so essentially half an acre of land in Leduc County for the amount of $10,064, which is to be funded from offsite levies as a part of the Range Road 241 road improvements project that was completed last year. The reason that we are looking to purchase this land is because during the Range Road 241 project, the ditches along the road were reprofiled, and this resulted in some of the ditches becoming a bit wider and encroaching onto private property. To serve the best interest of Beaumont, we want the ditch to be within our road right of way so we can easily access it and maintain it for the lifetime of the road. The reason I'm here seeking approval for this purchase is because the MGA requires that when one municipality is purchasing land that falls within a different municipality, formal approval from both municipalities is required. We've already obtained approval from Leduc County as per the letter in the attached materials. Therefore, we are recommending that Beaumont's Honorable Council and Mayor also approve this purchase so we can then proceed with the sale and registration of this land as road right-of-way. I'm now happy to answer any questions that anyone may have on this.
Thank you, Ms. Poonam. Appreciate that. Pardon me. Any questions from council for our presenter before I ask for the motion on the successful decision? Oh, thank you. Councilor Barnhart, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Poonam, for the report. My question is, has this work already been done? And we're paying for it after the fact and approving it after the fact?
So the ditch has been, through the chair to Honorable Councillor Barnhart, my apologies. So yes, the ditch itself has been reprofiled. That was done during the road project. That's when we realized the full extent of the encroachment and the issue that it was presenting. So since then, we engaged the land agent and appropriate people to look into this issue and the best way to resolve it. And this land purchase was put forward as the best solution. So now we're looking to formalize the purchase so we can formally take that land as road right of way.
The sound is not good. I'm really having difficulty hearing, but I think she said that the work has been completed. Am I correct?
I think it's in process. Yes, not quite completed.
not quite completed.
Yes.
So we're kind of, this is a formality we're going
More of a
through.
formality is
at
my
this
understanding. That's correct.
Okay. I guess I'm just concerned that we didn't know this was going to happen before it happened.
So through your worship to Councillor Barnhart, the work for Range Road 241 has been completed where the team had widened the road, had completed the work according to the project scope. As a result of that, with the back sloping, it is now on somebody's private property. This happens fairly regularly through construction projects. Now we just need to be able to purchase that road right away, make sure it's within the public property. It's pretty standard after that. Just a formality really with the construction project, just making sure that we're not hampering a private landowner.
Thank you, Ms. Raymond.
Thank you. Any further questions for our presenter? Seeing none, the member of council willing to make the forthcoming motion is on our screen now regarding the purchase. Councillor Miller, Ashley, you have the floor.
Thank you. I move that the purchase of a portion, 0.544 acres of the Northwest 25-50-24-W4M in Leduc County, in the amount of $10,064 to be funded from offsite levies for the purpose of Range Road 241 road widening be approved.
Thank you, councillor. Discussion on the motion, please, from council. Seeing no discussion. Sam, any questions on the motion?
Nope.
Thank you. I will call the vote, please. Council, please vote accordingly. Sam?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council. Thank you, Ms. Poonam. Thank you, Ms. Raymond. Appreciate your attending this evening, presenting to us. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Next on our agenda is, actually, we're now down to councillor inquiries, responses, and reports. Are there any councillor inquiries this evening? Steve, your button's on. You have the floor, Councillor Newkirk.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I have an inquiry this evening. Just wait for it to be put up here.
See if you pull your mic just a little closer.
Oh,
If you don't
sorry.
mind, just a little closer.
You
Thanks.
bet. Yeah, so my councillor inquiry this evening is regarding 50th Street and the 41st Avenue intersection at the south end of Edmonton, north of Beaumont, leaving towards the city. Please provide information on any available traffic collisions and near misses at 50th Street and 41st Ave north of Beaumont, as well as any information on current strategies to address traffic safety at this location. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Appreciate that. Looking forward to that information coming to us in the near future. Councillor Barnhart, you have an inquiry. You have the floor, Kathy.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And I apologize, I didn't have mine written. I did send it in advance to CAO Schwartz to give him a heads up about it. So I'll read it and then I'll propose what I think the inquiry should be. It hasn't been vetted through the administration. That's the only
Thank you.
thing. I would like to ask the administration about the safe use of outdoor rinks that are unboarded by older youth and adults playing shinny hockey. A concern was raised by residents in the Milieu Park area that pucks are not prevented by boards from coming outside the rinks and potentially flying off onto trails and hitting pedestrians or vehicles on the roadway. So my inquiry would be, is there any warning or signage contemplated for next year or regulations that might support appropriate shared use?
Thank you, councillor.
And I can put that in writing if the administration requires that.
Please coordinate with Ms. Winter after the meeting to
Yeah.
coordinate the written form.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Any further inquiries? I have one of my own, and once the council all had the chance to provide their inquiries. Seeing none, mine will be appropriately on the screen in a moment here. Thank you. My inquiry, revolves around affordable housing versus supportive housing. Please provide information and an explanation on each of the concepts and differences between affordable housing and supportive housing. Thank you very much. Next order of business, if there's no further councillor inquiries, responses or reports. Seeing none, I'll proceed now to CEO update. Unfortunately, CEO Schwartz was not available to be here this evening. I'm assuming he did not delegate a report. He did, Ms. O'Neill. Okay, Ms. O'Neill, you have the floor to speak on behalf of CEO Schwartz. Thank you.
Thank you,
Our
Mr.
Deputy
Mayor.
CEO O'Neill.
Right.
I apologize.
No problem. I do have a quick update. I'll try to be as succinct as Mike usually is. On the planning and development side, I wanted to give council an update that we are at 63 new house permits so far this year. And what that means is that it's double versus the same time period as last year. So this is significant for the planning and development team. Rapid One, which is our newest addition to the firefighting fleet, is now in service. This unit will be used as a rapid response vehicle for medical response, along with support to firefighting operations. It went on its first call last Wednesday. We are also now accepting applications for the community grant funding program. This is to support our city's community volunteer organizations. We're going to be hosting grant writing workshops for them. CVOs can attend either the virtual or in-person grant writing workshops to gain a better understanding of the grant program and what contributes to a strong application. Next, Beaumont is now part of the Alberta Capital Airshed. This airshed focuses on collecting and sharing information about outdoor air quality in the capital region. Data from the monitors is available on the ACA website on a continuous basis. We have one already installed in Four Seasons Park and one coming to City Hall soon. My last update is around the 2022 UPass rebate. Edmonton Transit Service, ETS, was approached by the U of A Student Union to rebate a portion of the winter 2022 UPass fees because the majority of students were being moved to online classes. In consideration of this request, ETS, along with regional partners, St. Albert, Strathcona County, Fort Saskatchewan, Spruce Grove, Leduc, and Beaumont will be issuing a rebate of $45 per student directly to the U of A. Our share of the lost revenue is $1,500. Although this is a very nominal amount, all regional partners are notifying their councils.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. Any questions for Ms. O'Neill's report on behalf of our CEO Schwartz? Sam, any questions?
None for me.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions. Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Next item of business are notices of motion. Are there any notices of motion coming forward from council members this evening before I put forth one of my own? Sam?
No, sir.
No, thank you. None from council. If you could, please, Ms. Winter. Assured income supports. At the March 22, 2020 council meeting, I will move that by the end of the second quarter of 2022, administration provide a report on the feasibility, costs, and regional municipal comparison and considerations of eliminating fees for access to the city's recreational facilities for residents on the Assured Income Severely Handicapped AISH program. Thank you, Ms. Winter. I look forward to discussing that with council in 2 weeks. Thank you. See no further notice in motion. That brings us to the end of our agenda for our live session. We will now move into closed session, and I will read out the closed session discussion wording. As a reminder, under section 1973 of the MGA, council is prohibited from passing a resolution or bylaw during a closed session meeting. If there's a direction or decision reached, council will revert back to an open meeting to the public. The direction will be recorded in the public minutes. FOIP outlines the items that will allow a council to close a council meeting, which includes matters where a public disclosure could be harmful to sections 17, 24, and 25. At this point, I'll ask for motion from council to go into closed session. Councillor Miller, Ashley, you have the floor, please.
Sure. I move that council meet in private to discuss matters protected from disclosure under the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, Section 17, 19, 24, and 25.
Thank you very much. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none. All's in favor, please.
In favor.
Thank you, Sam. Good evening. We are back from our closed session at 7:29. I'll reconvene the March 8th City Council meeting of Beaumont City Council. And we do have a motion that came out of our closed session, and it'll be on screen. I'll make that motion in a moment here. Thank you. I move that motion 22/01/19 City Snowplow Contest be rescinded. Discussion on the motion, please, council. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Please vote accordingly. Council Mokoff had to leave the meeting. That does pass 6-0. Thank you very much. Unanimous decision. Thank you, council. With no further business from our agenda, our meeting